The sixth and final Apollo moon landing mission began with the December 7, 1972, launch of Apollo 17. In the first night launch of the American human spaceflight program, the giant Saturn V rocket lifted off from Launch Pad 39A and lit up the sky at NASA's Kennedy Space Center, KSC, in Florida. Commander Eugene A. Cernan, Command Module Pilot Ronald E. Evans, and Lunar Module Pilot Harrison H. Jack Schmitt, the first trained geologist to travel to the Moon, rode the pillar of flame into a parking orbit around the Earth. The rocket's third stage reignited to send them on their way to the Moon. Following an uneventful 3-day coast to the Moon, Cernan, Evans, and Schmitt arrived in lunar orbit on December 10 to prepare for the landing at the Taurus-Littrow site and to conduct scientific observations from lunar orbit. Long after the last Apollo astronaut left the Moon, a mystery lingers. Why does moon dust smell like gunpowder? Moon dust. I wish I could send you some, says Apollo 17 astronaut Gene Cernan. Just a thimbleful scooped fresh off the lunar surface. It's amazing stuff. Feel it, it's soft like snow, yet strangely abrasive. Taste it, not half bad, according to Apollo 16 astronaut John Young. Sniff it, it smells like spent gunpowder, says Cernan. Lunar dust has silicate in it, a material commonly found on planetary bodies with volcanic activity. Miners on Earth suffer from inflamed and scarred lungs from inhaling silicate. On the Moon, the dust is so abrasive that it ate away layers of spacesuit boots and destroyed the vacuum seals of Apollo sample containers, fine like powder, but sharp like glass. The low gravity of the Moon, 1/6 of what we have on Earth, allows tiny particles to stay suspended for longer and penetrate more deeply into the lung. Particles 50 times smaller than a human hair can hang around for months inside your lungs. The longer the particle stays, the greater the chance for toxic effects, explains Kim. The potential damage from inhaling this dust is unknown, but research shows that lunar soil simulants can destroy lung and brain cells after long-term exposure. This charge can be so strong that the dust levitates above the lunar surface, making it even more likely to get inside equipment and people's lungs. Curiously, back on Earth, moon dust has no smell. There are hundreds of pounds of moon dust at the Lunar Sample Lab in Houston. There, Lofgren has held dusty moon rocks with his own hands. He's sniffed the rocks, sniffed the air, sniffed his hands. It does not smell like gunpowder, he says. Were the Apollo crews imagining things? No. Lofgren and others have a better explanation. Moon dust on Earth has been pacified. All of the samples brought back by Apollo astronauts have been in contact with moist, oxygen-rich air. Any smelly chemical reactions, or evaporations, ended long ago. The experience gave Apollo 17 astronaut Jack Schmitt history's first recorded case of extraterrestrial hay fever, the lunar hay fever, as NASA astronaut Harrison Schmitt described it during the Apollo 17 mission, created symptoms in all 12 people who have stepped on the Moon. From sneezing to nasal congestion, in some cases it took days for the reactions to fade. Inside the spacecraft, the dust smelt like burnt gunpowder. The Moon missions left an unanswered question of lunar exploration, one that could affect humanity's next steps in the solar system. Can lunar dust jeopardize human health? We don't know how bad this dust is. It all comes down to an effort to estimate the degree of risk involved, says Kim Prisk, a pulmonary physiologist from the University of California with over 20 years of experience in human spaceflight, one of the 12 scientists taking part in ESA's research. We need to study the dust in situ on the Moon. Only there can we fully discover its properties. Why does it smell? How does it react with landers, rovers, and habitats? What surprises await?